So a lot of people think like old books are really hard to read, or like classics are just like super hard to get through. People think, we think, oh my God, I'm not a reader, or how do people read this, or I don't have the time. Anyway, I'm in my late 30s and I have dyslexia. I've had it for my whole life and I struggle to read. I'm not a really avid reader. So I wanted to see if I could read Plato's Republic, the super old school philosophy classic book. It's a decent book, and I want to see if I can get through it. And I have a reading speed of about 140 words per minute, so let's just get into it and start reading and see what it's like. I've got my book, got my Pepsi, and got my super note so I can annotate along the way. So yeah, let's get into it. So far, Plato has wanted to justify what justice is, and now I've gone on to where he is saying, and he's arguing that injustice is better than justice, because if you do wrong, you reap the benefits, and if you just apologize to the gods, then you get no punishment at all. So he's arguing that injustice right now is better for the individual, because again, you can just repent to the gods and there is no punishment if you get away with it in this life. So that's where I'm at right now, and then we will get on to part 2 of preliminaries next. So it's the evening and I'm going to continue reading, see how many pages I get through. Didn't really want to read, sat down, started reading, and I'm already a quarter way through, so I'm pretty stoked with that. So yeah, next day. Everybody. So it is day 2, it's the weekend, so let's get back at it. So I took a break from reading this and I went down a YouTube rabbit hole like usual, played a bit of a game, and now I am far behind. So let's get back into it and start reading again, shall we? It's getting way too sunny out here and it's hurting my eyes reading this book, so I'm gonna go back inside. I am at 113 pages and I don't feel like reading anymore. I think I might be done for now and take a break. This is dense philosophy. And yeah, I'm gonna take a break, aren't we? Aren't we, Mona? I don't know if you can see that. So it's 7 in the morning and I'm gonna try and annotate as I walk to work. So I'm just going to draw directly into the book when I find a quote that I like and just walk to work for an hour and read as I walk. So reading the book on the way to work was interesting. I found annotating just a little bit harder, so I've started to draw and annotate in the actual physical books where normally I would just do it on an e-reader or something like that. So now I've just found myself a little quiet place away from work for lunch, but the best place I could find was this little park near the motorway, so I'm just going to sit down and read for my entire lunch break and then get back to work. So I've read about just close to halfway, and I've only got up to the point now where Plato has finally finished building his hypothetical republic so they can figure out what justice really is. So man, this is a dense, slow read. It's interesting. I can find that other philosophy books that I've read really do take from this how they set up and how they argue their points of view. I find it quite interesting, and yeah, that's where I'm at so far. So walking to work reading a physical book is actually a little bit harder and a little bit easier in terms of like keeping my place on the page is a little bit harder, but annotating is much more enjoyable. And just reading an actual book is actually more enjoyable, not relying on a battery or a device or anything like that. But done quite a decent amount of reading today. Gonna read a bit more for bed. But yeah, this is day 3, I think. So it's lunchtime again and I'm continuing reading and I'm on to book 5, and I thought book 5 started out quite strong. There's a lot of conversation about equality between men and women, and I just want to read you this quote. So if you are going to use men and women for the same purposes, we must teach them the same things. Yes. We educate the men both physically and mentally. Yes. We shall have to train the women also then in both kinds of skills, and train them for war as well, and treat them in the same way as the men. And it goes on to it being how in the book they want to treat both sexes to be the guards, and I found that interesting. And then it kept going, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere it's talking about eugenics, which I did not see coming at all. Like, what the hell? So I need to keep reading and figuring out what that's all about. So that's where I'm at right now. Well, I've just finished reading for lunch and I'm officially halfway through the book. Officially halfway finally. I've been reading for what, three days straight, and I'm officially halfway. It's not bad for someone with 140 words per minute reading speed. I'm a pretty slow reader, but we've got halfway already, and yeah, interesting to see where else I'm going to learn in this book. So it's raining this morning, so when I walk to work I won't be able to read this book in the rain. So okay, that's a write-off for an hour's walk. I won't be able to read a single thing, but whatever. That's life, right? So we'll have to find some other gaps in our day to read. Today was a write-off day. The weather stopped me from reading a paperback book. Go figure. So I've just come home, I've worked out, done my massive walk. I've been reading for about an hour on my walk home. I honestly don't feel like reading the rest of the day, so I'm not going to read this book, and I'm going to relax and do something else. Well, it's Friday and I've only got 100 pages left of this book, so we're going to read it, see if we can finish it today on the way to work and on the way back home. Hopefully it doesn't rain. The weather looks pretty meh, but yeah, 100 pages left of this book, reading speed of 140, and it's Friday and we nearly got through it in a week. Awesome. So I didn't finish the book yesterday, so I'm going to try and finish it today. So wish me luck. It is getting much more interesting as it goes on. First half, meh, and then it's actually getting better and better as I read, which is crazy. Done. Finished. The middle bit to the end was absolutely amazing for me. If you can see, I annotated quite a bit. 140 words per minute reading speed. It took me a week to read. I was reading maybe an hour to 2 hours a day, but I got through it. Yeah, it only took me a week. So if you're struggling to read, if you don't think you can pick up books like this, know that someone like me who's dyslexic and has a super slow reading speed can do it. You can do it too. So don't let that mindset stop you. Yeah, so if you ever want to read a book, just know you can. And catch you in the next one.